Hey folks, Paul here with Zippy Lawnz, and in this video, I want to show you how to map your lawn with the Mammotion Luba robots. I've got the app right here, so I'm going to show you everything in the app about mapping your lawn. It could save you a lot of time if you're setting up for a brand new Mammotion robot. We've got the Mammotion Luba 3 here. We've got the Luba 2 Mini. As you can see, we've actually been Mammotion dealers for several years now. We're an authorized service center, so when you buy from Zippy Lawnz, we can fulfill the authorized, the warranty here in the United States. Mammotion is a Chinese company, but we try to do our best to provide USA-based support here in the United States for these really nice robotic lawnmowers. So let's jump into it. Let's do it. All right, so I'm gonna control this Luba 2 Mini and we are gonna set up a map. Now I've actually got a pretty complicated map already set up. So I'm gonna map out a new area and I'm gonna kind of go over some of these different areas that we have. So the area, we're in area 1 right now, and you're actually gonna get a nice little tour of these outside of Zippy Lawnz today. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send this robot through area 1 here. And when you map an area, you go into the mapping setting and you click create a zone. And we like to have multiple areas for multiple tasks. And the reason why is because each area can be mowed on its own schedule. So here in our front lawn, we get a lot of sunlight and the grass grows very quickly. So we hit this area 1 and this area 2 more frequently than the areas that are in the shade and don't get as much sunlight. So this is area 1 and area 2. And then in between these two areas is a channel. And what happens is that you can have multiple areas where you want them connected through over like a driveway or a different area where you're not going to be mowing. So when you have different areas, you connect them with channels. And that's how the mower knows how to get back to the charging station. So you're seeing here that we've got 3 different channels and we've got 7 different areas. Now I'm gonna create a brand new area as we move over here. And you can see when the robot is outside of a task area, it lets you know, okay, I'm outside the task area right now. But if in a normal scenario, it would follow the channel to get from area 1 to area 2. So now we're coming back to this area 2 over here. This is an area that gets mowed somewhat frequently, and I'll show you how to build out the schedule for your robotic lawnmower. And then I'm going to take you over to our charging station so you can see that the charging station can either have a channel going from it to your first zone, or it can be located within the first zone. Now, these charging stations do need to be installed in a flat location. So you can see here we've got a pretty good location. This is the home base for this Mammotion Luba 2 here. This is the Mini. We have this installed in an interesting way, but essentially you do likely want to use the RTK unit and get it wall mounted or ceiling mounted to something very sturdy. Right here, these are the charging connectors here. Sometimes you do need to dust them off a little bit over time. If it gets, sometimes if it has a problem, it just needs to be dusted just a hair there. So this is a flat location. We've got these stakes in. We've got the RTK unit connected here. And these new units do have net RTK, meaning they have cellular connectivity. But let's go ahead and create a new zone over here. And then I'm going to create a channel to that zone to give you an idea of how the mapping works. So I'm going to click map. And there's a create button here. Now there's a lot of different options here. I want to go over all of them so you get a good idea of how this works. We're going to create a new area, but within an area, we can create a no-go zone. That's ideal if there is a pond, which we have over here. So maybe I'll use that as an example. If you have like some roots that are coming up, if you have a rock that's coming up, and this is really important to think about because if the robot hits a rock, it'll go over it, but it'll dull your blades. these blades are spinning really fast, thousands of RPMs per second. So just one rock might hit every single blade. And as your blades dull over time, they don't cut as well and they just start to tear the grass instead of cutting it. So Mammotion has some pretty nice little blades that on the bottom of these. This unit has 1 cutting disc with 6 blades. The Luba 3 has 2 cutting discs with 12 blades. Those blades can be changed fairly easily with a screwdriver, and then you can just offset them a little bit. I'll show a picture of that in a second, where you can get twice the life out of them. They're sharp on both sides, but the disc only spins in one direction. So as we said, we can create an area, we can create a no-go zone, we can create a channel to connect those zones, and now there's a new area, which is a virtual fence. And we're gonna have to do a new video on the virtual fences because those are actually super helpful in certain scenarios where you don't want to create a completely no-go zone, but you want to kind of control the way the mower moves within a zone. All right, I'm going to click Create. I'm going to click Create, New Area. And the first thing you do is you drive the mower to that area. So I'm going to go ahead and drive it to this area over here. I'm going to click Start. And you have the option for manual mowing and the option for auto mowing. Now, auto mowing is only ideal if there's clear perimeters, okay? We do not have clear perimeters here. If you've got a fenced in area, you can use the auto mowing. But I really highly recommend doing manual because it gives you full control. And I'll give you an example. We'll come over here. We're gonna map right up next to an edge where there is a pond. And these robotic lawnmowers have like centimeter level accuracy if you're using an RTK unit that is literally solid. I don't even really trust the one we have here. I would like to have all of our test units wall mounted so that that centimeter level accuracy is based on where that RTK unit is. Net RTK uses cellular connectivity. So you can see here, and we can go over that in a little bit too, but what I'm gonna do is as I'm driving this, I'm creating the perimeter, okay? I'm not gonna get too close to this area because this is a pond. So any areas that, like a ditch or a channel that could get overflowed with water, we definitely wanna be safe and give some space here. But what I'm doing is I'm just creating this perimeter, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and complete this zone. Just for the sake of this video, I don't want to go too long on creating this zone. So what we're doing here is just driving literally the entire map. And once we go back to the starting point, we've created the map. Now, as I'm doing this, notice that in the bottom left, it's mapping the number of square feet. You only have a certain area. So it says remaining area, 6,600. So that is super important. You cannot map more than the unit is able to map. So Mammotion has like 4 different sizes. Looks like I'm coming to the end here. And then I can click Save. So make sure you can use zippyLawns.us to map out the total square footage of your lawn, because if you get to the end of mapping your lawn and you've gone beyond the square footage, it will limit it in the app. You cannot go any further. It becomes really annoying. I'll give you a tip about that now. Don't map a huge area, and then if you're running out of space, right? The Mammotion right now has a 1.25 acre unit, a 0.75 acre unit, a 0.37 acre unit, and a 1/4 acre unit. They're sold out of the 2 acre units right now. Maybe we'll get them next year. They've literally sold out. We might get a few more though, so give us a call and we can tell you what we have in stock. We do have a lot of these in stock. But once you hit that limit, you're out, right? So if you map around the pool, right? Map around the no-go zones, they don't get caught, they don't count against the square footage that it's calculating, if that makes sense. So map around the big areas, like maybe you don't need to include some of the shaded areas that don't have as much grass, for example. So now that we have created this zone, one of the cool things is there was already a channel going in and out of that. In most cases, one of the things I do want to mention about this is you want to create channels that give the most direct path back to the charging station. So when you're looking at a map like this, you don't want your channel to literally, this is actually a good example because we do not want the channel going out that side. It would literally have to use this channel over here, right? So we could create a new channel by clicking create channel, but think about that. If you have an island and you're about to create a channel, choose the side of the channel that's going to get it back to the charging station in the closest, fastest way. Another tip on channels is when you're driving the mower with your thumbs with this, drive it as straight as you can because the mower is going to recreate that channel exactly how you do it. So if you're going left and right and left and right, it's going to redo that every single time and potentially create ruts in your lawn from doing that over and over again. So do it just straight as much as you can or a slow curve because it's going to redo this over and over again. In the tasks area, when we actually say we want to mow a specific area, we have the ability to edit a lot of different settings. So we can edit the cut height, we can edit the task speed, and we can edit the path spacing and the customized angle. So I want to talk a little bit about each of these. First of all, the Mammotion robots have vision, so they have cameras on the front. They can see any obstacle that's roughly 2.5 inches tall, okay? So if it's 2.5 inches tall, then it can actually see that obstacle and go around it. But if you're mowing below 2.5 inches and there's a 2-inch obstacle, it's possible that the mower's not going to see it and it's going to hit that obstacle. And whether that be a hose or a rock or something like that, it's going to dull the blades. It's probably going to hit that obstacle. So be careful with mowing too low. Only mow low if you really, really know that it's a perfect lawn with Bermuda grass and you're willing to risk it. Now, the next piece is task speed. I like how Mammotion allows you to choose the task speed. We go as slow as possible. The reason why is because there's always a trade-off here. You can go 2 feet per second super fast and you can cover more area, but the cut quality is going to go down. The motors are at max capacity. The motors cannot go any faster. So the task speed, there's an ideal task speed. It's just pretty much the default. The slower you go, the more blades of grass you're going to hit. Now, from a cut spacing perspective, it's pretty interesting what you can do here. You can go all the way down to 3.1 inches, which it gets these really nice, interesting little lines, or you can go all the way up to 5.5, which just does a little bit of an overlap. So that's how much it overlaps. And then you have the cut angle. Now with the cut angle, this can actually make your robotic lawn mowing a lot more efficient. If you have a path, and I'm just going to show how this works real quick, you can choose whatever angle you want. You can choose the optimal angle, which will work by following the optical angle. It's my assumption that is what it's doing is it's saying, okay, if it's a long bowling alley, we're going to go up and down those lines instead of going across 100 times. But just to ensure that you've done that right, you can customize it, or you can do random. Now, if you've got a really big square or a really big area, I recommend random because if you're always mowing in the exact same direction, it can mat the grass down and create ruts by going over and over and over in the same direction. So it is better for your lawn to mow in different directions every single time. You don't get the beautiful lines. And I will say beautiful lines in a lawn really do give it a beautiful look, even if it's a lawn full of weeds. The other thing I really like about Mammotion is they give you the total mow time. It's somewhat accurate. Let me know what you guys think. But that's how you create your map. Those are some of the settings available in the map. I threw in some tips for you. So my recommendation is to give us a call and let us know which robot you're interested in. We have these in stock. We're an authorized service center. We have the parts for these robotic lawnmowers. We stock the blades. We have extra cutting discs. There's a lot you can do with these Mammotion robotic lawnmowers, and we're here to help. So give us a call. Our phone number I'll put below. Sign up for zippylawns.us where you can map your lawn. We give tips for optimizing your schedule, and we've got all the parts and maintenance, so we can give you actual notifications when you should be changing your blades, when you should be getting new cutting discs. It's good to get new cutting discs every year, and we have those available in our store. So let us know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video.